Cause the freedom ain't free, things got a cost. They paid for today with the lives we lost.
Hey, welcome back to Analog Man Podcast. I'm your boy, the Wolfhound. Please do me a favor and hit that like button. I'm going to do an artist today that I don't really know his music. I don't really know a lot about him. I just know that he's like on the political spectrum in the United States, and I don't really get deep into politics. I try to avoid that. But this popped up just because Memorial Day was recently, and I saw this, and it was looks like a Memorial Day song. So I have had people in my comments, say, hey, you need to check out some Tom MacDonald music. And so I don't really know Tom MacDonald. I saw like small clips of him on some political commentary, but for me, it just wasn't the type of music I was listening to. So I don't really know a lot about him. But by the look of the amount of subscribers and stuff, I mean, a lot of people seem to really like this guy. So this will be my first time listening to him at all. Like, I've never listened to Tom MacDonald at all. So I don't really know what this guy's background is or what to even expect. And, part of that is I spend so much time overseas. I don't always know what's going on in the United States. And so the reason I'm covering this song is it's a song about America. He's got the American flag there. And freedom isn't free, which I agree with right off the bat. I'm a veteran myself, so let me just hear the song and then just give you my thoughts on it. Yeah, first time listening to Tom MacDonald at all. So let's see what this guy is all about.
It's a time to remember the ones who we lost. The fathers and sons, the mothers and daughters who went overseas and fought so we could be free. Believe it or not, they dying for peace, they dying for speech. They died in the streets of the Middle East. They left a family at home and picked up a gun and stormed a beach. I see a problem, we've forgotten the fallen. Nobody works on Mondays, so we celebrate and pop bottles while there's soldiers in the dirt and they all got families who are hurting. The cost of freedom is a person. They died so we ain't speaking German. So eat your burgers and drink your beers, relax, enjoy your day. There were funerals and a million tears so we could live our lives this way. There were widowed wives and the children's eyes who won't see their dads again. It's a holiday for the fallen, don't say Happy Memorial Day. Cause the freedom ain't free, things got a cost. They paid for today with the lives we lost. So don't comply, stand your ground. They sacrificed it all and we gotta make them proud. Cause the freedom ain't free.
What's up, guys? The 4th annual Hangover Gang.
Hey, just give me 1 sec. Whew, where did that come from? Yeah, right. So hit me right off the bat here, but so I was just looking at the words, and those are good lyrics. I'll just hear what else he has. This is a short song.
Memorial Day blowout and fundraiser is going down right now at hangovergang.com. We got autographed flags, autographed bandanas, autographed photos, tons of new gear. Everything on the entire website is 20% off. Use the code Memorial HOG for 20% off everything. And we've also got a couple special Memorial Day designs for charity. Every single penny from the charity shirts will be donated to US veterans. Over the past 3 years, Hangover Gang has donated over $350,000 to veterans of the United States. And I'm really hoping we can push that number past $500,000 this year. So head over to hangovergang.com, get your autograph stuff, get your new shirts, get your albums, get your charity shirts, get whatever you want. And let's do our best to give back to the people that have given us so much, because America is the greatest country on earth. And if it weren't for the brave men and women who died protecting it, we'd be living in a very different world. So the Hangover Gang 4th annual Memorial Day blowout and fundraiser is going down right now. It ends Sunday at midnight. Head over to hangovergang.com, get your gear. Love y'all.
Yeah, so I don't know a lot about Tom MacDonald. To be honest, that was the first time listening to a song, if that's even a full song. It seemed like it was just a short clip, and I wasn't sure if that was like, he stopped and he started doing promotion. And I'm like, man, is this guy just like doing a promotion off of Veterans Day, but you see that he's donating all of that to, veteran families and stuff. And man, that's really nice. Yeah, the lyrics hit me. Sorry about that. It can be tough being a veteran and having lost people really close to you. And I have lost several teammates. And, sometimes it can be hard to be understood. Could probably see some edits because I'll be having to edit out some parts here. I probably don't want to air in public, but sometimes it can be hard to be a veteran, mostly being misunderstood. One of the things about being in the military is that when it comes to the political side of things, you're not really, when you're in the military, you kind of have to deal with some of the politics as it influences, the branch, depending on whoever is in charge. And I was in the military during different, parties in control. So I saw some of those differences, right? But as a soldier, as a warrior, as a sailor, as an airman, as a Marine, you're really not thinking about a lot of that stuff. Of course, there's policies that come down and you're just like, oh man, what are we doing? Or, those types of things. However, for the most part, you just try to get great at your trade, whatever your skill is, and you do realize that you're doing for the greater good for the United States. And it's not really up to you how it's implemented. It's just up to you about, being ready and being able to execute your part of the mission. And, a lot of people did go and serve, in different wars and combat and did not come back. And some of them are really close friends of mine, mentors, and people that were on my teams. And, they're gone. And some of them have families, right? And when Memorial Day comes around, I think there's a lot of people, they celebrate the patriotism, which you could see Tom MacDonald, guy looks like a patriot. I don't know about his whole background with his tattoos and the rap and all the stuff that he's involved in, but one thing for sure is the guy's a patriot just by the words he's saying. Now, it doesn't mean I'll agree with every political view the guy has, and you know what? That's the cool thing about America. You don't have to agree with every political view, but can we get behind this? Can we get behind his message here? Whatever side of the aisle you're on, can we recognize that that's the right thing? I think we should, at least for the veterans. The military is a great place. It is a great equalizer in many ways from social aspects. You can come from nothing and become something. And, I'm living proof of that. Maybe you'll find more about my story if you keep checking on my videos. But I started in very rough conditions, and I was able to go to some very elite units in the military. And, I did all that without a proper education, which I got later. And, oh, by the way, that was not as tough as people make it out to be, getting a bachelor's degree and stuff like that. So, what I went through in service and the training far exceeds any of that. Not to say that other stuff isn't important. It is super important. And I think especially for military folks, like if you're in the military and you are a soldier, a sailor, whatever, you should try to get more knowledge outside of the military so you can understand the world better. And it will actually help you transition out of the military better. And I've got another channel where I do jobs and careers, military jobs and federal careers. Maybe I'll leave a link for you guys to see that. But so this video hit me, and it hit me for a couple reasons. One, Memorial Day for me growing up in America was just about celebrating America, Rocky Four, U.S. versus Russia, just that kind of mentality of America number one. Let's fly our flags and stuff and be proud of our country, right? Which everybody seemed to be on board with it. And then somehow, I do 20 years in the service and I'm gone, and I come back, and America, much like the Vietnam era, is torn about loving the country. And I don't know. I mean, I understand there's different reasons, but also some of it I feel like was manufactured. And, being in the military, coming home and not really recognize the country you were fighting to protect, it's kind of a scary thing. And, I have children too, so they're growing up in the world. They probably know more about Tom MacDonald than I do, and kind of the things that are going back and forth within the political arena. But the thing with me in the politics is that, a lot of times it's the exact same thing on both sides. It's just a different actor. And, yes, there are some people trying to do good, but those systems in general, judge it by its fruits. And, there's just so much that we can do better as a country with each other, and putting aside the politics and just get out of that mindset where we need to frame everything through politics. Like, why don't we just get together as human beings and work things out? And that's kind of the mentality I've had. That's kind of the analog mentality. So I don't attach a lot of things to me, so that it's, one, you can't frame me easily, and two, it doesn't hold me back from learning something new or taking a new perspective. So that's the analog way of life, and that's what I promote. I do life coaching, I do retirement coaching, and if you want to do some YouTube creation, I have a 30-day program for that. But this is about Memorial Day, and Memorial Day for me is a special time where I do reflect on things, and I don't necessarily celebrate. Like he said, it's not a party. There's the fallen, and I spent a lot of time overseas, and I even had a chance to go to some places that had previous wars, from World War II, World War One, and I got to see some things that other people probably will never see because of my background, and some places that some people will never go. And I saw things that veterans had done prior, and the sacrifices they made in real life to be able to see those battlegrounds and see those type of places. And it just gives me the respect. And that's the thing, even with the other countries, that the soldiers and sailors that you meet, and the Marines and the airmen, you have this, as a veteran, you have this respect level, even if it was your enemy, that they're going through a lot of things that you're going through with their family at home and leaving families behind. So for me, one of the toughest moments in the military is when I lost a really, really good friend. His name was Louis Safrant, and he was killed in Iraq, in an explosion where a building crushed him. He was on a very important operation, and he did not make it out of there. And actually, somebody had mentioned this recently on the Sean Ryan show, and I'll leave a link to that episode if you want to learn more about Louis Safrant. He was one of the best human beings and one of the best operators America has ever had, and in my opinion. And I'm really blessed to call that guy my friend. And Louis, rest in peace. And all my other brothers and sisters who, the list is too long to start going into without me getting too upset. But Tom MacDonald, I don't know much about you. I appreciate you, though, for this video. I appreciate you taking time out to address this specific thing. I appreciate that you're donating that to veterans. There's a lot of veterans in need, and those things can't always be fixed by money. Sometimes it requires interaction and support and help. And all you guys that are struggling out there, I'll leave a link. It's not my link. I'm not an affiliate, but there is this thing called Better Health Online. And a lot of veterans, they just don't want to interact with other people. So maybe like physically, maybe, online therapy link, can help somebody. I'm sure there's some probably discounts out there for folks somehow. If anybody knows that, please leave that in the comments, and leave some information for veterans to get help. We don't want to get into the VA and all these other programs. I mean, sometimes the VA is really, really good, and sometimes not. I'm struggling with things right now, to be honest. Just trying to get them to answer the phone at the Voc Rehab stuff. But they're pretty busy because there's a lot of veterans. So if you're a veteran and you've seen this video, or if you know more about Tom MacDonald, please leave a song that I should listen to. Tom MacDonald, yeah, I really appreciate this song. For all the veterans out there, Memorial Day, I appreciate the service and everybody that's still on active duty or reserves doing work around the world to help, keep America in the position that it's in. And the quality of life that we have in this country is like none other. And I've been all over the world, and America's got a great quality of life. There are some other places that are really, really nice too. And you should travel outside of the country to get that perspective, because if your only perspective is the United States, then I don't think that's wise either. You should reach out and learn new things. And speaking of learning new things, the Analog Man podcast is all about learning new things. That's why I'm on this music journey. I don't usually do American music. I pretty much am doing international music. So that's what you're going to get here on the Analog Man podcast. But every once in a while, if an American artist pops up and someone say, "Hey, check them out," I'll do it. But who knows? Maybe I'll do some more Tom MacDonald music in the future. But like I said, first time hearing him, I appreciate it. Oh, as far as his rap sound and everything, it was pretty good. I didn't hate it, but I also, for me, I'm kind of a reggae guy, a calypso, even Afro beats. I like that kind of music. So I just have a different genre that I prefer. But I'm open. I'm open to learning new things. So I hope you guys are open to learn new things here on the Analog Man podcast. Please do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. I'm your boy, the Wolfhound. And yeah, check out those links, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.